Hello everyone, I'm Terry Duke, and welcome to my channel. Despite not having played any other Fallout games as of making this video, Fallout 4 is one of my favorite games of all time, not only because of its immersive world and gameplay, but also because of the massive modding community. And as of recording this, Fallout is having a surge in popularity, thanks to the release of the Fallout TV series, which Bethesda synced with a huge Fallout sale across all platforms, as well as an upcoming update for Fallout 4. For new players discovering the franchise, and for long-time players alike, this has just become the best time to pick a Fallout game and mod the crap out of it. And that's what this video is about. Today I aim to share some of my favorite mods covering different aspects of the game. I'll talk about mods that bring new outfits, change the environment, massively alter the combat gameplay, and all sorts of things. This video has timestamps, so feel free to skip ahead to the mods you want to hear about. Either way, all mods are linked down below, and if you're new to modding and don't know how, well, don't worry about it, because I also made a comprehensive guide on how to mod Fallout 4 just a few months ago, which I'll also link down below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe for more, and tell me about your favorite mods for Fallout 4 in the comments that I could cover in a future video. Now let's do this, starting with apparel mods, because if there's one type of mod that is easy to get and just gives a quick refresh to Fallout 4 every now and then, it's having some new badass looking outfits. So throughout this video, you will see me in my character with pretty much the same outfit all the time. This has been an outfit that I enjoyed having for quite some time. I think it looks really badass, and it's actually a combination of several mods. So if you like this look and want to get it, well, I'll just list the mods you need right now. It's the black combat armor, the black marine wetsuit, the black Pip-Boy, and for the jetpack, this comes from the vending machine in the Modern's Firearms mod, which I'll address later. So this is my main outfit. I think it looks pretty awesome, so I hope you like it. If you do, well, just get the mods and you can get the same. But besides that, I'll start with an apparel mod that I think is really useful, especially if you're starting a new game. This can really change the whole way you play. And this is the Riot Armour mod. That's exactly what it is. It's a Riot Armour. And you can actually get this one immediately at the beginning of the game. Once you get out of Vault and you get to Sanctuary, just go to one of the houses down the street. There's a cellar in the back of one of the houses, and inside you will find a Riot Armour. And if you look at the stats, this is massive. Even by vanilla standards, I don't think there's a single piece of armor that's not power armor that is as durable as this. It looks pretty badass, and if you wear it right away, you can just go straight to Concord and fight off the bandits, and you won't have any issues at all. You could basically wear it for the entire time you play the game without ever having to change an outfit. Now, obviously we will, but the point is, you want a solid armor to start with? Riot Armor is the way to go. If you're looking to play a more stealth playthrough, well, I gotta mention it because it's pretty common. This is the Chinese stealth suit. Not only does this suit look pretty badass, it really is aimed for stealth. As soon as you crouch down, it will put you in stealth, and you can move around while in crouched position, and you can really just sneak around easily. This is a pretty badass looking armor. It's been around for a while, so obviously if you've never heard of it, you should definitely check it out. And since we're talking about very common popular apparel, I also gotta mention this one. This is the NCR Veteran Ranger, the iconic suit from the cover of Fallout New Vegas. And it does look awesome, let's be real. You can also take the mask itself into the workbench to customize it so you can have like the red glow. It looks pretty awesome, but it's not practical. You can't really turn it off, and it kind of gives away your position, but still, it looks pretty awesome. In terms of other apparel mods, one that I really like that really does make a nice difference from the base game is the Minutemen Reskin standalone. Unlike big mods like We Are The Minutemen that completely revamps the way the Minutemen works in the game, this mod is specifically about their clothing, and that's it. They're more militarized in nature, and the boring gray got replaced with this cool dark blue. There's a new suit for Preston, and he looks pretty awesome in it. You can also install the commander desk and build your own Minutemen general outfit, which also looks pretty awesome. And yeah, overall, all the Minutemen, they just look way better with that thing. And for you as a Minuteman, you have a whole lot of other options as well. So it's pretty cool. If you're into the Minutemen vibe, this is a really good mod to get. And then of course, one of my favorite apparel mods there is out there, if you really want to get into the Wastelander vibe, you gotta get Ellie's Armor Compendium. This mod adds a store that's right next to Diamond City where you can find Ellie, and she will sell you all kinds of outfits that are really cool, and they really all have that post-apocalyptic vibe to them. They're just so badass looking. The mod got updated just 2 months ago, so there's even more outfits now. There's like a whole new vault setup. You have like the Vault General, which I never imagined was a thing, but it looks surprisingly badass. The Vault Hunter, pretty cool as well. There's also the Vault Hazmat suit, which That's just perfection. But of course, there's also plenty of other ones as well. I like personally the Urban Ranger outfit. You've got so many options with that mod, there's no reason not to get it. But regardless of which apparel mod you get, there is one apparel mod that goes with all of them. It's Backpacks of the Commonwealth. This is another very famous mod, obviously, but this is basically a mod that adds backpacks of all kinds. You can have leather bags, you can have like those big army bags, but there's also like the fancier one, like this nuclear reactor, I don't know what that's supposed to be. They all have great fits, and you can pair them with any outfits you wear, and obviously they don't just look great, they also increase your carrying capacity, so there's no reason not to have this mod. And ultimately, regardless of what apparel mod you go with, they all come down to this next mod that you should get to really make the most out of everything, and it's Armorsmith Extended. In Armorsmith Extended, all this really does is add more customizing options to outfits when you bring them to the armor workbench. The hybrid weave upgrade is just insane, as it basically gives all kinds of protections for everything, and thanks to the Armorsmith Extended mod, you can basically do this with all the armors in the game. Some actually require it. The Chinese stealth suit, you can mod the crap out of it by adding new features to it, either defense or make it quicker or sneakier. The backpacks themselves, they really take advantage of this because they have some penalties that can come with them, but you can also increase their storage capacity, you can also increase their damage resistance, so there's a lot of things that goes on there. The apparel mods themselves really do bring a lot to the game itself, but it's with Armorsmith Extended that you really make the most of them. And those were the apparel mods. Obviously there's tons of them, I could never cover them all, but in terms of my favorites, those are pretty much the ones I would pick. Now we're going to go back a bit and mostly talk about mods that change the world. By that I mean like change the atmosphere, improve the visuals, change the factions a little bit. I don't have that many mods here that I can recommend, but we'll start small with the Riot Armour Diamond City mod. In the game, you have the settlement of Diamond City, they have their own guards, and they all wear like this football gear, which I never thought looked really good, so instead of just wearing all that cheap gear, they're all like a lot more badass now thanks to this mod. They all wear Riot Armour, and because the armors are just inherently more resistant, that also means they can fend off attacks way more easily. They don't look as pathetic as before. So this is definitely a cool mod if you want to like improve Diamond City a bit. Similarly, this is another mod that's very popular that I'm just going to bring up right now. It's Are The Minutemen. It will just create more patrols of Minutemen to go around the settlements. It will give them more variety. Some of them will even wear power armor, which is pretty cool. And that's before you get into all the new stuff it adds to settlements, like flags, like new sets of defenses. Overall, it's a pretty cool mod. Minutemen Reskin is really just about the clothes, but for everything else, you need Are The Minutemen to really get into it. In terms of mods that actually improve the visuals, I don't really tend to use a lot of them, but one that really stands out a lot is Clean Water. And I took the tropical option with the Clean Water mod, and it's so clear you can basically see what's under the water. Like right here, you can see the Chinese submarine, and overall it just makes the mod so much more beautiful. In terms of actual mods that improve the visuals and the graphics and everything, I tend not to have much for stability, but I will get mods like True Grass. I mean, you can have mods like Vivid Fallout, which really meant to amplify everything, but True Grass really focuses on vegetation, and it does add a very nice layer of greenery to the game, and you don't have to think much about it. Similarly, I mean, you gotta have it. True Storms is a mod that adds more variety to the game's weather, including the iconic Rat Storm, which you would only get in the Glowing Sea, but now it can happen at any time, anywhere in the Commonwealth. And it really does make for a truly immersive experience. So much so, in fact, that a few years ago I had to record a scene that played out with Rat Storm, and it added so much to it. Here's a sample of it.
Flesh is flesh. Machine is machine. The two were never meant to intertwine. By attempting to play God, the Institute has taken the sanctity of human life and corrupted it beyond measure.
After all I've done for the Brotherhood, all the blood I've spilled in our name, how can you say that about
You're the physical embodiment of what we hate most. Technology that's gone too far. Look around you, Dance. Look at the scorched earth and the bones that litter the wasteland. Millions, perhaps even billions, died because science outpaced man's restraint.
On top of it all, the mod comes with a holotape that actually lets you choose the weather yourself, so you really can't go wrong with True Storms. Other mods that are very cool to change the atmosphere are mods that change the soundtrack of the game. The game's music is fine, but it does get repetitive after a while, so for new soundtracks, you have options. The first one would be Digital Nightmare, and it just adds this hardcore, sometimes metal, sometimes dubstep music to make the game just feel hardcore, especially in combat scenes, and for that specifically, it's pretty cool. If you're looking for something a little more Fallout-ish, then I would go with DV's custom Fallout 4 soundtrack, which is really just a new soundtrack that adds some action music, that adds some environment music. Overall, it's just pretty good. But if you want to stick to Fallout, you just want something different, you can even get a mod to play the original music from the very first Fallout game. I've tried it at some point and it was interesting, but overall, with these mods, you're off to a good start on making the atmosphere even more compelling. In terms of combat mods, I have a few, and generally with these few alone, I already changed quite drastically how the combat works in Fallout, so here's a few of them. The first one, and this happens to be one of my absolute favorite mods for Fallout 4, this is Modern Firearms. I've already mentioned it a couple of times in previous videos at this point, but what this mod does is just add a whole array of new guns to the game. These guns are more modern in nature, obviously, but you've got AK-47s, you've got M60s, M16s, SMGs, sniper rifles, and with the mod installed, these weapons will start appearing everywhere in the game, and they are fully compatible with the Weapon Workshop, allowing you to add different scopes and muzzles, mag sizes, just like the base games. However, these firearms also have a ridiculously high base damage, meaning they are all super deadly from the start. With these guns, power armor is virtually useless. Vertibirds get destroyed with just a few shots. It's just ridiculous. Now, this might seem over the top, and it definitely is, but the point of the mod is really to make combat both hardcore and more challenging, especially in early game, where different tactics may become preferable. But there's also many other mods you can add to balance modern firearms, such as mods that make power armor more resistant. If you want to learn how to balance out the mod, I suggest you watch my video on how to make Fallout 4 hardcore, which goes over several mods to add on top of modern firearms to really bring the combat in Fallout 4 to a whole other level. Ultimately, I enjoy Modern Firearms quite a lot, and instead of downloading several mods just for having a few more weapons, this mod is kinda like a bundle, and it's very easy to install, so why not? And there's still other mods you can add on top of it, one of which, that is also popular, is the Deadly Commonwealth expansion. And what this mod does is not only add more enemies per factions, such as the Raiders and the Gunners, it also adds new types of troops, like the Bomber Raider, who will explode on impact, the Gunner Medic, which has a lot of stimpaks on him, and different groups have different variations of the Goliath, which are like huge enemies carrying heavy weaponry. Because of that, it really changes the game in that not only is there more enemies and it's more challenging, but they also use different tactics, so you have to look out for different types of raiders and how to deal with them. Similarly, there's another mod called Super Mutants X Large, which is just that. It's the same as the Deadly Commonwealth expansion, but specifically for the mutants, and it makes them bigger and tougher, and some of them are even radioactive. It just gets messy. And finally, if you want another mod that adds even more enemies to the game, I would encourage you to get the Capital Wasteland Robot Pack, which adds robots that were seen in other games, such as the Securitron from New Vegas. They're all pretty cool, they don't appear often, but they had more variety to the combat. So these are the main mods that I think about in terms of really bringing the combat in Fallout 4 to its extreme. The video on hardcore mods really gets into all the other mods you should get in addition to that, so I definitely recommend you check it out. So after the outfit mods, the world mods, and the combat, let's get to the settlements. If you enjoy crafting and doing all kinds of cool settlements, I have a few mods here that'll help you do just that. But first, let's talk about this one. See what happens here.
We managed to hold them off without too much damage.
When we all work together, the bad guys don't stand a chance.
Did you see that? I reported that I saved a settlement to Preston, and he did not give me another mission for another settlement to save. That's thanks to the mod called Enough About the Settlements Already, Preston. If you're fed up with Preston always giving you settlement missions, then you can just get this mod, and what it does is Preston will never bother you about anything. You can still get missions from the settlements, of course, but you have to go see them yourself, talk to the locals, and they're the ones who are going to give you missions. And when you succeed, they will join the Minutemen regardless, so it's still possible to rebuild the Minutemen. So with this mod, well, there you go. But seriously, let's talk about settlements. The first mod you should get is spring cleaning. If you want to really clean up all the mess in all of your settlements, spring cleaning is the way to go. There used to be another more popular mod called Scrap Everything, but I heard it's a bit unstable, it can lead to some crashes. Spring cleaning is the alternative and pretty much does the same. If you really want to clean up and get rid of all the trash in your settlements, this should be the first mod you get. In terms of actually building stuff, there are several mods that give you new things to build, new furniture and stuff. The first one I would talk about about is Homemaker. It just has so many things, especially pre-war elements like furniture and outdoor scenery. It's got a lot of different things. But another mod that adds a lot of cool stuff is Sandbag Fortifications. What this mod does is pretty self-explanatory. It gives you all these military-style fortifications like trenches and sandbag barricades and lookout towers that you can basically build in any of your settlements to really give them like this militarized war zone look. But it's not just about the looks. A lot of these defenses can actually be manned by NPCs to provide boosts, such as the tower, which I tend to build in all of my settlements now. But another thing that the mod brings that I really like is the Quonset hut. And what I like about the hut is that quite often settlements are comprised of a half-broken house or some crappy looking sheds, so I like to just spring clean all of it and install a Quonset hut over it, which I then fill with beds. Here's one where I installed a bathroom and sink. There's also a bench press lifting itself because it would not really be Fallout 4 if something's not glitching. But overall, the Sandbag Fortifications mod is pretty cool, and it helps me give my settlements more of a uniform look, so I'm always sure to install this mod. In terms of the specific settlements and what to do with them, another great mod I really like is Repairable Sanctuary. It's a little complicated to install, so you really gotta check the instructions, but once it's set properly, you can repair the houses almost perfectly to what they used to be before the bombs. And you can see it right here, it's actually beautiful. I've enjoyed actually renovating some of the houses progressively as I go through the game, as if like centuries slowly being rebuilt, so it's pretty cool. The only real issue I have with Repairable Sanctuary is that once you repair the house, it becomes very difficult to place things on the floor. They tend to just go right through, even with the Place Anywhere mod. It just doesn't really work all that well. But still, if you want to bring back Sanctuary to its former glory, this is a great mod to get. Similarly, if you want to bring the castle to that same clean state, you can use the Repair Castle mod, which does just that. It repairs the breaches almost completely, which also gives you more room inside the walls to add furniture and such, and the NPC paths are not affected either. A simple entryway was added in what was one of the collapsed sections, and NPCs travel through it without issues. So yeah, with that mod you can really make the most of the castle, and it's just way better. In terms of settlement mods, that's pretty much it for me. I did reserve a section for certain mods that I think are kind of small and insignificant, but I also feel they're so obvious that once you know about them, you should just get them by default. So here's some of them. Perk points per level is a mod that is a little complicated to install, but basically what it does is it lets you control how many perk points you get every time you level up. So if you're the kind of person to start a new game every now and then and you don't want to get through the grind of constantly having to level up everything again, you can use this mod to give yourself more perk points every time you level up. That way you skip most of that grind. Easy lockpicking and hacking are mods that I enjoy as well. If you don't like the lockpicking and hacking games, you can get these ones to practically bypass it entirely. With the easy lockpick, you can just go straight down and it'll unlock immediately. With the easy hacking, only the word that unlocks the computer will appear, so you can just pick that one. Even though the mods let you skip those minigames, you still have to meet the skill level to unlock certain things, so it keeps the game somewhat challenging, but it just lets you skip that useless little game, so that's cool. Rich Merchants is also one I tend to just get. It's really annoying when you have a lot of things to sell, but merchants don't have enough money, so Rich Merchants does just that. All the merchants have a lot of money, so you can sell a lot of things. Similarly, the quick enter exit power armor mod from the mod menu in the game is just something I can't live without anymore. The slow animation of entering and leaving the power armor is really annoying, and all this mod really does is give you the combat animation where you're entering and exiting very quickly. More seriously though, if you want a mod that's just going to allow you to do whatever you want, you can just get the cheat terminal. The cheat terminal is a holotape that you get in your Pip-Boy, and you can use it to basically spawn any item in the game, or add any kind of legendary perk to any of your items. You can give yourself money, you can give yourself all the crafting components. So if you need anything, the cheat terminal is just something you should get for the convenience. And finally, for people who get so frustrated of dying and having to start pretty far back, the AutoSave Manager mod is a must-have. Too many times I have died and realized that I had not saved in a while, and it really pisses me off. So the AutoSave Manager is a holotape with which you can decide when the game autosaves, and for me I have it set to everything. Every time I get into a new location, it saves automatically. Every time I'm done crafting something, it saves. Every time I'm done fighting a battle, it saves automatically. So with the AutoSave Manager, I never have to worry about not saving. And finally, well, what else is there? We talked about outfits, we talked about the world, the combat, the settlements. If there's one thing that also really refreshes the game in my opinion, is the companion mods. I made an exclusive video on it, but just to give you a quick teaser, I'll mention some of them right here. There's Sexy Hancock.
Your thoughts?
You know, we figure out how to turn you cool. We could do this long term. Something to think about.
And then there's Dreaded Kate.
Are you kidding? Now that you're back, I'm feeling better than ever. When you're ready to go, I'll be right behind you.
There's Occult Piper.
Heading my way?
You sure you want to travel with me?
I think I could suffer through it.
And Platinum Curry.
I am delighted to see you again. I find myself lonelier without your good company, but I occupy myself with science and research.
If you think they look cool, do check out the full video, link down below. And that's about it for today, so thanks for watching everyone. I hope you found some interesting mods, and again, if you're new to modding, check out my guide on how to do it. If you've got other mods you like, feel free to let me know in the comments, and I could easily make a part 2 covering your suggestions. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe and check out the rest of my channel. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.